Feathers, flags and fun, this is Europe's biggest street party. Every year over the August bank holiday weekend, Caribbean culture descends on the streets of West London for the Notting Hill Carnival. The first carnival took place more than 40 years ago. It was a way for new immigrants to stamp their own cultural identities in a society that at the time was much less welcoming. The skills of costume making, steel drumming and calypso have now come together to establish a festival of music, arts and culture. Today, the Notting Hill Carnival attracts more than 1 million people from around the world. Here they're entertained by about 64 masquerade or mass bands, while the sounds of soca and calypso rhythms boom through some 38 sound systems. Mass bands are the most spectacular part of the carnival. Some have over 100 members. The steel pan bands are another big attraction.
Mangrove Steel Band. Tell us a bit about the band. I mean, I know you've been around for a while and you've done some very good work. Just give us a brief summary of the band.
The band's was formed about just over 30 years ago now, and there's won numerous panoramas. I think about 7 in all, maybe more. But they've placed usually very highly as well in the competition. They've toured around the world, Mauritius, Africa, in Europe. I think they've been to America as well, and quite a few players often go to Trinidad as well for their carnival, practice play with some of their bands. It's kind of the trend these days. Just go to the homeland and play with some of the big bands down there, improve their skills, so when they come back here to play with our band, you know, they're all set, they're all ready to get on with it.
I mean, Carnival is round the corner now. How long have you been practicing? And when did you get everyone together to begin to get yourself ready for the big day?
Oh, I think the band started practicing around about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, and eventually people start coming back in. You know, when they have the time, start dropping in, just picking up their parts and choosing what bands they want to play and stuff like that. And it's been pretty hard work, but the band's worked really hard.
And you need between 50 to 75 people to perform in Carnival?
You don't need to, but I think the limit for the competition is 75 players. So we can have up to 75 players, like I think we did last year. But this year was slightly smaller. I think we have around about 50 players.
Tell me a bit about your costume. How is that made? What is the procedure for that?
It varies. This year we're going quite simple. We're just doing t-shirts with combat trousers, various designs on t-shirts. Some of the t-shirts are cut up and ripped and stuff like that, and we have trousers and shorts. But other bands, as I'm sure you'll see, is going to have like bigger costumes made with wire, fiberglass, with lots of colourful materials and stuff like that, with the face painted, the arms painted, whatever, lots of glitter and sequins. It's quite a spectacle, really.
Okay. And do you think this might have an impact on the presentation, as I'm aware there's also a competition?
Yes, the bands do get judged during Carnival. There's a stage where the bands will pass through, just the bands, no crowds are there. They just clear the road and the bands pass through and they judge on the costumes, how the bands look together and stuff like that.
Another highlight are the sound systems, which blast out the music of legends like Bob Marley to more contemporary artists like Sean Paul and Beanie Man.
Tell me, representing sound system, explain that a bit more for me.
The board is made up of 5 artistic arenas. There's the steel bands, the calypsonians, the DJs on the road, the sound systems and the mass arena, and I represent the sound systems on the board as their director.
Carnival has changed tremendously because now a lot of other communities or cultures are getting involved in it. How is that been catered for?
Well, as it always is, it's when something comes along that's very special, people want to be part of it. They come and view it for the first year, and they want to be part of it. They come and see the masqueraders on the road, and they say, well, I want to be part of that. They come and see the DJs and sound systems, I want to be doing that. So we like to look at it as inspiration to the young, and also attracting those who've never done it before, and including those visitors from abroad, from all countries and all over the world, because this is one of the biggest events in the world, if not the biggest in Europe.
Thank you very much.
And how was this year's Carnival for you?
For me, it's been 2 days of fantastic fun, enjoyment. A lot of young children coming out to enjoy themselves, a lot of happy faces, and that's what, for me, is what it's all about.
Okay. I mean, I know Carnival has experienced quite a few challenges. What are your thoughts on the future of Carnival?
The future of Carnival is very challenging, as it already has been for many years. We need to step up our game, and we're looking to try and do that as a board and get ourselves into a position where we want to be sustainable. We need to get more funding in for the event and really recognise and reward those that put so much work into it.
Okay. For people who's never been to Notting Hill Carnival before, what would you say to them?
Come and enjoy a great spectacle. It's 2 days of great music, great entertainment, great masqueraders on the road. It starts off on a Saturday with Panorama, which is a steel band competition. But for those who haven't experienced it, it's all, please come and enjoy it. Don't listen to what people may say negative. No negative about it. It's all positive. And the other beauty about it, it brings everybody together. Yeah. It's a fantastic, diverse event.
Carnival starts on Saturday with the Panorama, which is a competition between steel pan bands. Sunday is dedicated to the kids and it's more of a family affair. But it's Bank Holiday Monday that's the real unadulterated fun. Winding and grinding on the streets of London, watching the parade sashay through the streets while enjoying some tasty jerk chicken. It's not a bad way to spend your day off work. But what does it take to organise something that's of such a grand scale?
Firstly, tell me about the Notting Hill Carnival Limited. Tell me about the structure and how you work.
Well, we're a board of directors, but we really leave a lot of the organising of this carnival in terms of participation to 5 arenas. And those are involved with mass bands, which you see behind, the steel pan, and then there's also calypso, and then there's the sound systems, both static and the ones on the road that accompany the bands. So they do much of the organising and structuring of what happens on these 2 days. And what we do as the organisers, the board, is really facilitate all of that, work with all the local authorities, the emergency services, the mayor's office and so on, to make sure that everything comes together.
What are the sort of preparations you have to make for an event like this?
We have quite a few preparations and they're taking place as we speak at this point in time. We need to make sure that the streets are all clear, that all parking suspensions are in place and that all receptacles for waste, any waste containers are removed off the highway. So we want to have a completely clear carnival area. So that's taking place at the moment and we're doing some sort of preliminary cleaning to make sure that the area is completely spotless.
I mean, Carnival has been going on for ages. I'm just wondering, are there some of the residents who are not so happy with the activities that happen during this season? And if they are, what do you do to appease them?
Yeah, there's always people that aren't happy, and it's a big event that takes place in a residential street. So there are residents that have some of their property damaged sometimes, and don't have a pleasant experience. And our role, and one of my key roles, is trying to minimise that impact on residents. And we do that in advance by making sure they know when Carnival's taking place, where the parking suspensions are going to be, where to move their vehicles to, how we clear up after Carnival. And we also provide a noise service during the event, so officers can visit, and if they've got problems with parties or during Carnival, the noise officer will help out trying to minimise the effects of that noise. And then after Carnival, we have a clear-up service that actually comes and steam cleans people's basements after Carnival to try and minimise the impact.
You're also involved in licensing, aren't you? How does that work out?
Well, we get a number of applicants who want to trade at the Notting Hill Carnival event, and they will want to trade in a range of goods, food and non-food items. We have designated pitches, and depending on the number of applicants we get, we might have 20, 30 pitches within Westminster. Kensington and Chelsea might have another 20 or 30 as well. And we allocate those pitches to the traders who have applied based on priority in terms of application, the application.
The procedure, it takes the setup, all the meetings what you got to go to, and getting organised and equipment. That takes a couple of weeks to get together. So
And what are some of the challenges you face being here?
The challenges, boy, really. It's like trying to get set up in time, and things like my generator is just broken down, so things like that can mess up your day and make the day a lot more stressful. So
I mean, there's so many different cultures participating in Carnival, and how does it feel to be kind of exposing your product to everyone here in Carnival?
I think that's good, because like Caribbean food is up and coming. You know what I mean? Everybody loves Caribbean food now, so everybody wants a taste of it. So it's good for me, you know what I mean? It's good for business, so yeah, it's good.